Hi guys, and top of the morning to you horror heads. Have you had a green beer yet? Maybe some green eggs and ham? Perhaps you had a bit of an Irish coffee this fine morning. Today, I want to treat you all with a little top 5 list, which was actually incredibly difficult to craft. Finding a good St. Patrick's Day horror movie can be much harder than you realize, especially when you limit yourself to anything outside of the trashy Leprechaun franchise, because I truly hate that film. After spending the weekend in front of the TV with a lot of Irish accents and not that many subtitles, I have crafted a delightful list for you all. Welcome back to Honest Pop Culture Reviews. I'm your eighth of an Irish host, Jackie K, and today we're reviewing the top 5 St. Patrick's Day horror films. Some films on today's lists are here because they take place around the holiday or a St. Patrick's Day tradition, but many of them are here because they take place in the country of Ireland, are composed of an Irish descent cast, or have a particular green creature at the center of its villainy. I'll tell you straight up though, you will not see the abomination of 1993's The Leprechaun on this list. It is by far my least favorite holiday horror film, and although I've been told that because of its corniness and schlock, it should be right up my alley, but I gotta tell you, I hate that film. I rewatched it trying to see if I could even give it a 5 spot this week, but hell no. I don't know if it's the camera work, the poor production value, or the young Jennifer Aniston setting womanhood back 30 years in the early 90s, but that film is intolerable. Now, with that out of the way, let's look at our number 5 spot, Leprechaun Origins. Hold up before you come at me with pitchforks and knives. With an average 3.2 out of 10 stars on IMDb's scorecard, don't let it scare you away from enjoying this fun, creative, and misnamed Leprechaun film. From the misleading poster work and original advertising for this film, I, and the rest of the world, probably expected this to be an origin story of Warwick Davis's Leprechaun franchise film, which I previously mentioned hating. It's weird though, right? I mean, even the poster said a horror icon is reborn. I mean, I guess if you want to go into the old Elven Gaelic route instead of the tiny man in an Irish cap, sure. But this film follows 4 young adults taking a weekend trip in the hills of Ireland in hopes to learn more about the culture and heritage as student aims to write their thesis. This seems like a rather noble cause in my book. They're not just there to drink and have sex like most students are. But the villagers nearby have a very different idea on hand. Years ago, they stole the gold of the leprechaun to advance their own lives and the settlement, similar to another film in the 2 spot today. To evade having their own family and friends killed by the beast, they sacrifice the 4 traveling backpackers to the beast-like leprechaun. The reason this film graces our list today is because it's actually hella good for a horror film. It is a bit slow here and there, but overall it has some amazing, gruesome kills and creative deaths. If you have never given this film a shot because its rating or supposed connection to the original franchise, put away your beliefs in this and just give it a shot this year. It deserves one. Number 4, Boy Eats Girl. Yes, eats. An Irish-made film with a real Irish protagonist and cast members. This is a 2005 film filled with a perfect soundtrack for the growing teen in the mid-aughts. On top of the great music, you have attractive young Irish men with cute accents throughout the runtime, which is always a plus for me. The story follows a young man who was about to confess his love to his female best friend, but due to a series of misunderstandings, he gets drunk and oddly enough plays around with a noose around his neck, just kind of seeing how it feels, I guess. It doesn't seem like he's going to commit suicide, but then his mother brashes in, accidentally knocks him over, and kills him in the process. There's probably a metaphor there. Saying how you should always knock before bursting into your adolescent son's room. Anyways, the mother uses some pagan Irish magic and brings her son back to life, who then becomes a flesh-eating zombie and spreads the virus throughout the town's zoos like a poor man's STD. That's another analogy, I realize. This is a film that's been on my hit list for quite some time. I'm a bit disappointed in myself for taking all this time to finally watch it because it is a fun indie rom-com horror film before Twilight or Warm Bodies was ever a thing. Take a chance on it this St. Patrick's Day, currently streaming on Tubi. Number 3, Holidays. Holidays is an anthology film available on Netflix that puts a uniquely dark and original spin on some of the most iconic and beloved holidays of all time by challenging our folklore, traditions, and assumptions. If you'd like to only watch the St. Patrick's Day short, it is second in the film after the creepy Valentine's Day special. Perhaps they go in yearly order, that would make sense. And begins right around the 14-minute mark. You actually get to learn the lore of St. Patrick's Day and why he became a saint at the beginning of the short, which is nice and also relevant. The reason of Patrick's sainthood is because he drove all of the snakes out of Ireland centuries ago. Although, it is said there were never any snakes in Ireland during that time, and it was actually a metaphor for ridding the pagans of the Isle. This short follows an Irish schoolteacher and the days following her becoming pregnant from her night out on St. Patrick's Day. A very reasonable, respectable teacher, I must say. She wakes up in her outfit in the back of a bus with a large snake skin left drooping over her nether regions. Yeah, she then has an entire year of being pregnant in which she finds out she's not going to be having a normal bouncing baby boy or girl. 3 guesses as to what she'll be giving birth to. So if you want to have a quick spook at about a 15-minute runtime, Holidays is your choice this St. Patrick's Day. Number 2, Red Clover, also known as The Leprechaun's Revenge. This is a solid B-movie that actually recognizes that it is a B-movie monster flick starring Billy Zane. It's based around a small Americana, Irish-founded town about to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. One of the great-granddaughters of the founders accidentally awakens a Leprechaun, which is the original Irish Gaelic for leprechaun, which is not so much a short little man with a fashion for shining shoes, but more of a mischievous elf often believed to have a treasure hoard. As the green-hooved monster comes back and haunts the town, aching to get its revenge for what the founders stole from him, we get to see some grade A, B movie level kills. Many kills are splice shots, meaning you see something happen and then cut to guts falling out or blood bursting from the new wound on screen. Many scenes are filmed with a green hue, which adds to more of the atmospheric holiday. It pokes fun at not only St. Patrick's Day, but Black Friday as well, in a pretty funny "we lost your mother this way." There are some beautifully set up scenes where you will be laughing out loud at the gore and kills. I believe that Red Clover has a better overall watch value than The Leprechaun does for your green holiday horror fix. A classic sci-fi horror flick, you enjoy poorly acted, self-aware horror films with a decent production value. Fun perk point, it was actually written by the same guy who went on to direct Sharknado a year later. Now you know exactly what you're getting into. This film is currently available to rent or buy at the same price of $2.99 on Amazon Prime. I think it's worth it for a fun laugh and a drinking game. Honorable mention, Crawlers. Hulu's Into the Dark March 2020 installation is an alright film. It kind of shows all of the worst stereotypes that flock towards St. Patrick's Day. Binge drinking, green beer, college students being complete asses of themselves, the usual. You follow a drug dealer, introvert, conspiracy theorist as the protagonist of a small college town where a meteorite landed years ago. Now she and her customers have to battle these alien-cloned college students and take out the mother pod to kill the imposters. This film has its moments, but overall could have been a bit tighter and recognize its kills for more fun because some of them are actually really clever and some of them are just really dull. Not something necessarily to write home about, but if you have a Hulu account, it's free, go ahead, toss it on. Number 1, Grabbers. Grabbers is this wonderful little film that comes out of the banks of Ireland where you have what seems like an alien sea creature killing off the natives of the small beachfront town. What is so brilliant about this creature feature is that they receive their sustenance by drinking the blood of humans as kind of a vampiric xenomorphic octopus. But They don't like it when you've ingested any alcohol. When they've drank blood with alcohol in it, they dry up like a stranded starfish in the middle of a drought. So on the night of a big storm near the beachfront, because these creatures can roam on land but do the most damage when wet, you have an entire town squeeze into its local watering hole, the bar, to get to a raging 2.0 breath scan inebriation level. It is brilliant. You see literally an entire town of drunks trying to fend off these blood-sucking creatures while completely smashed. 2 sheets to the wind. You can't get better when it comes to the best St. Patrick's Day horror film. Grabber takes the place on the Isle of Green, stars Gaelic actors, and has the protagonists hammered while trying to fend off the beasties. If you've never had the chance to watch Grabbers, give it a shot. Unintended pun, give it a shot this St. Patrick's Day. It is currently available on Hulu for streaming. Alright, Honest Pop Culture fans, that's our list. What did you think of it? Do you think the Leprechaun actually deserved a place on the list? What about Citadel or The Hollow with an A? I've never been a fan of these 2 films, and I wasn't quite sure if they fit my requirements for this list. Thank you so much for watching my content. It means so much to me. Please like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, comment what you thought of this video and if you have any suggested content for the future. Tune in next week when we review the new March content on Netflix. This has been Honest Pop Culture Reviews. I've been your slightly Irish host, Jackie K, keeping pop culture honest.